Good Friday evening, and thank you for joining us for this first episode of Let's Talk. Every first Friday of the month, by the grace of God, we here at Women's Ministries for Lake Region Conference, we're going to be on talking about relevant issues for today's Christian woman. So today we continue on with a topic we started last Friday night during our End It Now program, where we heard from an amazing survivor, Elder Pettis, who shared her real story of survival. She turned her tragedy into triumph as she's using it now to help other people. Additionally, we heard from a few others. We heard from the Honorable Judge Kevin Harrell, who shared from the justice and legal system what survivors and survivors to be of domestic violence can expect. And we were encouraged by what he had to share. We also heard from Pastor Deidre Ann Leiba, a licensed professional counselor and a pastor of the Alpha International Seventh-day Adventist Church in Arlington, Texas. She is with us again today as we continue on in this conversation. We know that the conversation might have struck a nerve. I went on and I shared with a few ladies over in Grand Rapids on last Saturday. We spoke about the topic, and I know it struck a few nerves. So today, for your emotional help and healing, we have brought Pastor Deidre back. As I introduce her, I'll bring her on to join us. Pastor Deidre Leiba, it's so good to see you. We know that you're with us from Arlington, Texas. You are a proud mother of two adorable girls, a proud wife of one husband. Got to put that in there. You are also a pastor of a fairly large church, a senior pastor leading that congregation there in Texas. In addition to that, you have your own counseling practice, Center for Hope Counseling. And it's a blessing to know that you've taken the time to come to speak with us again today. So,
my pleasure.
Let's talk.
Yes.
Let's talk.
Let's
it's a
talk.
tough topic. It's a tough topic.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's in some ways gut wrenching.
Mhm.
I think both for the person involved in the intimate partner violence and for those who look on with empathy, in some cases, wishing we could do something. So it is a difficult topic, I think.
Well, we're so happy that you're here and that we could have the conversation together. I have to be really honest with you, and maybe you could help me and help those who are viewing with us. Feel free, those of you who are viewing with us, to share this with somebody or somebodies that you know might need to hear the encouragement this evening. Feel free to post in the chat, say hello. If you've got questions, now's the time to have it. This is a talk, an informal chat, really, as we dive a little deeper. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't understand, and I posted it on Facebook today, and maybe you could help us. I was really heavy today, and I was doing so well. I've been doing great. This morning, I just felt like it was so heavy. And I realized it's because we're going to talk about this subject. And as I started to, think about it, pray about it, I called someone very dear to me and I started to have a conversation. And I realized it's because I know people, women, who have been victims or survivors of physical, sexual, and emotional abuse. And it hurts, and it's heavy. It's so heavy. Pastor Leiba, there are some people who may have been triggered by the conversation we have. We're hurting right now. There are people right now I know who are asking this question: what do I do? How do I? So for the person right now who is in a situation that is adverse, they may be feeling different emotions. Could you please speak to that for us from a counselor's point of view?
Yes. Well, I will definitely try. I just want to first and foremost say something that I've been sharing with my clients recently, and that is to give yourself a little grace. And I know that's not very common when we speak to people who are experiencing intimate partner violence, because we're just like, well, just get out. There's no room for grace. Like, Don't you want to be safe? Don't you want to be free? And we really approach it with a very we love and care for those we know have been in such situations or are in those situations, and we desperately want them to be safe. But I would say give yourself some grace and know that, again, like I said last week, this is not your fault. And I would rather you approach yourself with tenderness and with care, knowing that while you make tough decisions to one day leave this relationship, the grace comes in to where you don't beat yourself up for having been in it and continue to be in it. I don't think it helps the situation when you have someone already mistreating you and then you add on the mistreatment to yourself. If you can remind yourself, I know I'm a child of the King. I know that one day by God's grace, my desire is to leave while I prepare, while I make arrangements, while I gain the courage. I can be gentle to myself and kind to myself and not add to the verbal abuse. Telling yourself that you're stupid, that you're dumb, that you're weak, and all these kinds of things, because you need that brain power to strengthen you to make some tough decisions for your future. So I would say I would definitely encourage you to have grace with yourself and to have some self compassion while you try to figure things out.
So I think what I hear you saying, speaking to the survivor to be, don't beat yourself up
Yeah.
by negative self-talk,
Mhm.
adding self-blame and
Mhm.
guilting yourself for saying,
Mhm.
I'm in this situation. They're
Mhm.
telling me I should get out, but what do I do? You're saying be gentle, be
Yes.
give yourself grace, um,
Yes.
um, give yourself time. You're
Mhm.
saying take time to make a plan,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
it's easy, it might be easy for those on the outside to say, what
Yes.
are you doing in there? Get out. Why are you
Right.
stuck? Get out. But
Right.
Pastor Liba, I wonder if you can share with me a little bit,
Mhm.
um, even right now, um, what does a survivor to be have to wrestle with mentally and
Yes.
emotionally when thinking about trying to get out?
Yes. I think one of the things that I see as a therapist is the challenge when children are involved, especially the mom in most cases, or let me say in many cases, the mom feels the burden of making sure that the child is taken care of, that they have somewhere to sleep and they have food to eat. And if the mom in particular feels like it can become an insecure situation, sometimes there is a bit more pause in hurrying to leave. If the partner adds significantly financially to the home, so those are some things that they weigh. How do I do this financially? There are people who have to weigh the burden of they have bad credit,
Mhm.
you know, and they can't just jump out and rent another apartment by themselves. There are people who don't have a lot of community and a lot of social support. They don't have siblings that they can run to. They don't have parents that can take them in.
Mhm.
They may not be connected to a church family where they could say, you know, Pastor Payne, can you help? Can you talk to the elders and let them assist me, or can you talk to the church and let them assist me? So not everyone is a part. Not everyone is a part of a meaningful community that they can lean on. You be surprised how many people who experience intimate partner violence genuinely are alone. That partner literally has become their world, their
Mhm.
source of food, clothing, shelter, everything. And so they wrestle also with, even the grief and the loss of the potential relationship of the relationship, that potential grief and loss. And what is life going to be like without this person?
Mhm.
And from the outside looking in, it seems a bit odd that someone can be attached to someone that harms them.
Mhm.
But I've often heard my clients say things like, it's not bad all the time. We do have times where we laugh together and share. So when you bring in the dynamic of not having community and social support and all these other things, and then you have this person who, even in the midst of abuse, they laugh with this person. They have companionship. They have company in the house. Some people have never lived alone. Some people are fearful of just what it is to be alone. And so there's so much involved, so much wrestling that they do in trying to detach. And the detachment is, like I said, it's considering the challenges of living financially on their own, and also that dynamic of I don't want to be alone.
Yeah, so there are a lot of factors, and to those of us who may be on the outside, or we, according to the stats, the chances are more
Mhm.
likely that we know somebody who has either been a survivor, who is a survivor to be, and so for us on the outside to be kind to those who are going through it, understanding that it's complex.
Yes, it
It's
is.
complex. It's
It is.
complex. You know, I have to say this. I was at a family function and I looked at all the beautiful girls in my family and I looked at the stats and I said, what is it? 1 in 3? 1 in 3 now in the US, according to the CDC, are likely to be victims of physical violence by an intimate partner. 1 in 5 sexual violence by an intimate partner. And it really broke my heart because stats are saying that of the girls in my family, more likely than not, they will or have been victims or survivors to be. So this is a lot more prevalent than we realize. And so for the person that is at this moment hurting, um, what do you say? You know, I know you said you can be gentle, be kind to yourself. Um, what are some other messages that you think are helpful for somebody to hear right now? Yeah.
Yes. Um, I think I will start with a recent conversation that I had. And that conversation I realized was important because of how much I stressed them knowing their value and their worth. I don't think along the way this person realized how much of that they had lost along the way. They actually began to see themselves through the eyes of their partner who is violent toward them, and they started to truly believe that they are stupid, that they are deserving of being called out their names, that they are worthy of being slapped around, and they are terrible mothers and they're horrible wives, and and so I would say let's find someone that you can talk to and share with in a deep way.
Mhm.
As hopefully it's safe to do that. You can find a time and a place where it's safe to have a conversation.
Mhm.
Um, if maybe with a professional that you can find, I would say that's a good start. And I would definitely try to comfort you with the reminder that before this relationship started, think back to the time that you did look in the mirror and you did see someone beautiful. You did see someone brilliant. You did see someone with potential. And ask yourself, if you had the opportunity, what would you do to get back to looking at that woman in the mirror?
Mhm.
Um, it's whenever you see someone gain that kind of strength and courage to be able to once again look at themselves and say, wow, like, man, I am deserving of more. It's a huge step. And so I would say, look in the mirror, take a good look in the mirror and see if you can find that woman in there that you once looked up to and admired and that you felt was strong and brave, and you tap into every ounce of her. She's still there. She's
Mhm.
still surviving in there. She may be hurting and she may be being mistreated, but she is still in there. I would say find someone that can help you to tap into that inner lioness,
Mhm.
that roaring lioness, and ask her if she can help you to get where you would like to be. She's
Mhm.
in there. Hmm.
That's beautiful. So what I hear you saying is try not to go at it alone. You
Hmm.
know, surround yourself
Yeah.
with people who can help you see
Yes.
who you really are. I like to say who you are in Christ too. I like to
That's right.
say because we have
Yes.
so much worth and so much value. I was
Yes.
sharing with a church this past Sabbath Saturday. For those who don't know the Sabbath, this past Saturday at church, I was sharing with a ladies, and in fact, I've been posting it online that those disposable cups. So this is a real cup. You don't really throw this away, but those disposable cups. You use them once, you toss them.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we're treated like that by those who are supposed to love us. We're tossed, we're discarded, we're treated harmfully. And just like that disposable cup, it can have a different purpose. And so I gave those ladies who responded, that cup with soil and a couple of seeds in there, sweet basil seeds. And I said, just like this cup can be repurposed to bring life, you are not to be discarded. With Christ, you are a source of life. You're strong and you're more than, all that the negativity that we receive. And to those who are listening right now, I want you to know that you are more. You are more. You are more. And with God's help, God can help lead the way. They say the most dangerous time, you pointed it out last time, Pastor Liba, that the most dangerous time for a woman is in an intimate partner violent situation is when she's trying to leave, or when that person is trying to leave. Because we know this victims of this type of violence is not only female, though this program is geared toward women. We acknowledge that men are too victims, right? It is not okay for women to hit their men in their face. It's not okay to spit at them. It's not okay to call them out their name. It's not okay to push them and try to provoke them, try to get them to you. I've heard of these things, you know what I mean? Where women get in the face of a guy and do that. That is not okay, right? And none of that is okay, because it's abuse. It's still abusive to him, right? But when a person, and in this case, as we're speaking to women, are coming to a place where you're saying, I want to leave, you make a plan, and there are steps, and I'm going to make sure that you see that there is, there is help out there. You let us know, Pastor Liba, that can be the most dangerous time.
Yes.
Do you mind sharing a little bit more?
Yes. I'm smiling because, number one, I'm smiling because since our last talk, I am so happy to have reconnected with someone who has been in an intimate partner violence situation, and I was so worried about them. I smile as I think of her, and I smile as I think about our safety plan and the things that she already has in place. And she is like, she just sent me a quick message. She's like, I'm still committed to the process. I'm just busy, but I'm here. And I felt so comforted to know that she's okay.
Thank God.
Yes. So one of the things that that she has done is which we agreed, is to make sure that she has all her documents in a place that she has access to and he doesn't. And I think sometimes when we're thinking about getting out, we think, okay, I'm just going to pack up everything one time. Oh, no. She's been leaving this relationship. We've been at this thing for a while, step by step. Each week, something else comes out. Also, now we have all the documents in one place. All those important documents, whether it's passport, green card, everything. And then the next thing is making sure that her credit where it needs to be. So, I mean, even those small steps, building your credit, but the safety plan includes being able to have phone numbers at hand that are not on a cell phone, numbers that you can write down, that you have handy in a safe place, so that if your phone dies or if your phone is taken in the process, that you can still contact people that are near and dear to you, that you have the hotline number handy, that you know where the nearest police station is. Those are important things. Definitely, you want to make sure that there is a loved one who knows where you are headed, where you're going, and that you try to do things, yes, at this stage secretly. You don't really want to be found out. You don't want to go to them and say, well, I'm leaving. That is not a good idea. I know that whenever you find the courage to leave, you feel empowered. You found your lioness, and you're just like, you want to go to that man and you want to say, brother, I'm out of here. but that is not safe. You do not want to set off alarms and
Mm,
and and start ruffling feathers, because you can be hurt, right? So you want to be discreet during this time, and you want to be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. So as you get your documents, as you find a safe place to be. Sometimes safety plans also include having places, friends' houses and things like that, where he doesn't know the address. That's always good, to have a few places where he's never been. He doesn't know their number. He doesn't know who they are,
mhm,
so that he can't come and really hunt you down.
mhm,
Making sure that you start to know what your location services look like.
mhm,
Are they on? Does your phone company, are your numbers connected in any way? Can you ask them to
mhm,
uh, to um, to consider how much of your location can be shared on a particular day? I mean, these are things that you should be thinking about. How can I not be found? I know most iPhones and iPads and computers, we're just thinking, leave the house with a computer, leave the house with an iPad, and then someone has on there, find my iPad, and you don't even know that they've also synced
mhm,
their locations to yours, or they have an app on your phone that you don't even know is there.
mhm,
Sometimes I have seen people
mhm.
even have devices that have been placed beneath their cars, trackers. When you know that you're getting ready to leave, take your car to a mechanic. I know safety plans are extensive, and they can be more extensive based on, what you and your therapist feel like you have to put in place, or whoever is assisting you in this journey. But I would say, be extensive. Do small things in incremental ways.
Mhm.
Not big things that start causing alarms. That you're not going to start packing up the children's clothing all at once, putting them all. Consider leaving at a time when the person's not home, maybe when they're asleep, or if they're away at work or something like that. Um, Making those kinds of provisions. But yeah, definitely consider the location services types of things, where if you can be tracked or traced, and definitely making sure that you have places where are there. If something happens, where like I said, the police station, the nearest place that you can get emergency services quickly. And yeah, and you can also be escorted out of the home by an officer.
Mhm. I want to, Pastor Liba, I know that you have your practice, Center for Hope Healing, and Center for Hope Counseling
Mhm.
in Texas.
Mhm.
And although people see your name as Pastor Library, like, what does this pastor know about this? She's also a licensed professional counselor who deals with this unfortunate situation. And listening to you
Mhm.
talk right now, it sounds like a movie. And I
Um,
realize that sometimes these movies, oftentimes, they can be built off of somebody's story.
right.
It's very difficult to hear sometimes, and it can be triggering for
Mhm.
some. And we recognize that it's hard to listen to at times and deal with, and we want to be very sensitive. And so we've committed to, Pastor Live
Mhm.
and I have committed to allocating another 30 minutes in a Zoom room for those who wish to have additional time. And I can't tell you how grateful I am to you, Pastor Live, for taking this time, to those who are watching live now and to those who watch it on the replay. Um, we want you to know that there is help. Again, the National Domestic Hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE.
Mhm.
You can call, and there are professionals there who can offer assistance to you. You can also text START to 8878 to chat with somebody
Mhm.
from the National Domestic Violence Hotline. In addition to that, in a few minutes, we are going to get started in our Zoom room. It's open to those of you at this time who want to have a time of personal um, reflection. You may have questions for the counselor. We will take a time to also on this Friday evening to pray with you specifically about that which is a burden on your heart right now, either for yourself or for your loved one. I want to thank those of you who took the time to join us live. And those who will watch it on the replay, please share it with somebody. We will be back the first Friday of the month by the grace of God to have conversations that are relevant to today's Christian woman. They're not always going to be heavy conversations, but given the fact that the Seventh-day Adventist Worldwide Church has given attention to this matter, the end of August, we thought it wise to follow up this month with our Let's Talk. And on the first Friday of October, we'll have another counselor with us who will share another perspective, as October is the National Intimate Partner Violence or Domestic Violence Awareness Month, as we continue to shine a light and to extend our hand to help those who are in need at this time. Again, we want to thank Pastor Liba for being with us live. Pastor Liba will be with us here in this Zoom room, which we'll give another 25-30 minutes to. At this time, you can find us or get into that Zoom room by looking at the link here, bit.ly, that is bit.ly/Let's Talk IPV. Be sure to include the entire address, https://bit.ly, that is bit.ly/Let's Talk IPV. Stay tuned for these announcements, and we'll see you, those of you who need the time, in the Zoom room. And again, Pastor Liba, thanks for being with us live. We'll see you.
Thank you for having me.
Room.
Thank you.